I recently asked myself this question: if I could instill one trait into my children, what would it be? And the answer that popped up first in my mind, and as I reflect on things that are important to me, it would be caring for people. I think that's something that is hard to craft into someone. It's difficult to say, hey, follow these 5 steps here, and then you will have arrived at caring for people, because everyone's needs are different. It's a lot of listening, and it's a lot of trying to mentally engage in a way that asks yourself over and over, what does this person in front of me need? How are they wired? What is the most important thing that they care about? And just being like hyper tuned into that specific situation and adapting from it. What would your answer to that question be? If you could instill one trait into your children, what would that be? Something to reflect on. Love to hear your answers on that. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever you can find me.
Are you a hardworking dad, juggling family responsibilities while dreaming of building wealth through real estate? Welcome to the Invested Fathers Podcast, where we explore how to balance investing and fatherhood. I'm your host, Kenny Johnson, founder of East West Capital. Over the past 5 years, I've been buying real estate to free up my time and secure my family's future. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Join me as we navigate the real estate world together, building wealth and strengthening our families. As my grandma always said, East West, home's best.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. Yay, Friday, Friday. How's your week been? I trust you are excited to be a dad, excited to be listening to the Invested Fathers. Here we are. Today's episode is going to be some updates on family life as well as business life. So thanks for joining today. Let's just jump into what are we doing right now with the kids? And the goal here is maybe this will spark some ideas of things that you can do with your family. My kids are younger, so that's going to be sort of a lot of the ideas given. We really try to incorporate being outside a lot. Obviously, it doesn't always happen that way, but now that it's fall, it's a lot easier to be outside and doing things. We put up one of those rope courses that you strap it from tree to tree and you can hang on it, and there's 10 different little clip-on things you can do. There's a swing, there's just a wooden bar. We put that up early August. And we've been getting a lot of good value out of that thing. I think it was $175. It took me about an hour to put up. I'm not much of a handyman, so this was a small plunge for me to assemble this, but it really wasn't too bad. If anyone out there has been like, what do I get that's a good investment for being outside? Another thing that we've been doing is disc golf. I think it's one of the best sports. It's so fascinating for me. I've always loved Frisbee, always loved like ultimate Frisbee. And this is just a fun thing that Moses and I have enjoyed over the last, 6 months to a year. There was a time where his arm wasn't really strong enough to throw, but I don't know. If you get a disc that's lighter in weight, he's learned this like side arm throw that is really cool to see him get better at something together, just in distance and building confidence. Man, we could probably talk about that for a little bit. How are we building confidence with our kids? It's better for our kids to learn self-confidence in themselves than in whatever gain they would have in the actual sport itself. So playing soccer, instead of him actually getting better dribbling and shooting, it's better to just learn, okay, like I can do this stuff. Stop comparing our kids to like these professional athletes. I don't know if anyone out there struggles with that, but I think what we do is actually we compare them to ourselves and how good were we at that age or even older. And there's a drive to find that balance of, hey, we want you to always get better and better, but let's celebrate where you are. Heard some really good advice. I had an interview today with a guy, and he had said, back to that mentality of the gap and the gain. Are we as dads celebrating our kids' gains and like where they've come, the things that they've achieved? Or are we really just being the dad that's focusing on the gap? What have they not been able to do? The example was, let's just say your son does a spelling test and it's 10 questions and he gets 9 right, 1 wrong. I think in life, we're just focusing on that one thing he did wrong. And I think there's times that it's good to hone in on the areas that we need to focus on. But as a kid, I do really feel, and I don't know where this is backed up with studies, but they need to feel that we are highlighting their gains over and over again. It is, I can see it in my son who really just needs that affirmation that I would think most sons do from their dad. So it all comes from disc golf and just being with him and trying to build him up through different throws, and when it chings in the basket, just being excited about that. Fun pastime. Here's what I'll throw out there. Looking for a daddy-daughter date. Chick-fil-A Playhouse. Never fails. My daughter loves that thing. And it's right. It's just one of those things that I feel like even if it's 10 minutes, it's a fun pastime for us. She gets excited about it. She's very friendly, so everyone is her friend. So if there's one other kid in there, she shouts to me from above, "Daddy, I look at my friend. Him's a boy." And I'm working on not having my phone visibly engaged with when I'm with my kids. I'll have something that maybe I need to respond to, but it's just that like doom scrolling or I'm just bored. That's something that I'm working on. But I really had a good time with my daughters. Actually, today we went to a Chick-fil-A, and I don't know, just she's learned how to do a thumbs up, and it's just really cute to see her go, "Daddy, look what I could do with my thumb," and she just like thumbs up and has the biggest smile on her face. Was listening to 2 moms today in this Chick-fil-A play place, and one mom, she had her hands full with 3 other kids. One was screaming, one was like playing with the automatic hand sanitizer dispenser, just making a huge mess. It's almost like building a sandcastle with the foam on the walls and on the windows. And the other mom had this phone that she wanted to show the other mom. I think she was maybe renting a house or buying a house. And she was explaining how like the washer and dryer are over here, and this is where the hallway is. And here's a garage that has storage. The lady was trying to keep her kids wrangled and on these leashes, more or less. And the other mom was just oblivious to the fact that the other mom just didn't care. All I have to say is awareness of your surroundings is very important. On the business side of things, my goals have been to build more and more engagement on understanding my audience. Listen to what people are saying, to who I'm resonating with. And I've had some really good one-on-ones this week with other investors. One of my main parts of my job is building relationships with potential investors and trying to figure out where they're at and what their next step needs to be in investing. A lot of that is just coming alongside them and understanding what walks of life they're in right now and figuring out, okay, what are your resources to invest right now? Maybe I don't have $100,000 that's just liquid. I feel like I'm not having a lot of those conversations with people right now. But there's rather some opportunities to move money from somewhere else. Or hey, I just want to like educate myself on what you're doing so that if and when I'm ready to invest, I want to know that I'm going to make a good decision. I've been educating and bringing people alongside me in regards to my own experience investing. But to anyone listening that's been on the fence of what would I need to do to feel educated enough to make a financial decision? I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not through training. This is just through straight up experience. But I really do feel like one of the keys to getting started in investing is to find a team or a person that you can come behind, come alongside, see what they're doing, learn about them. These online, hey, invest here in this like local deal with a pool of other people, but there's no like person that you feel connected into. I really don't think you're ever going to make that move. And if you do, it's going to be feel very risky. There's got to be some type of connection made with a person that you can ensure is doing what they need to do to rather vet the deal or explain the deal and educate along the way. So that's me. That's what I do. No, you don't need to invest in all my deals, but I would love to be that resource, be that connector to help you along the way. That's a large part of why I'm doing this podcast. I want to educate and I want to inspire. I took a self-awareness test recently, and the 5 voices is what it was called. I was the nurturer. And I don't know if that surprises anyone or not from listening to the episode in the past, but not a surprise to me. It's something that is seen through talking, taking time to understand people, being intentional about giving my attention to someone. And as I reflect on what my value is in the investment world, it's going to be with connecting with people on a level that makes them feel cared for. Those are my thoughts for this week. But last week, I did share my own definition of the invested father, what it means to me. And when I bring on a guest, I am refining my messages, refining the content that gets put out. Simply of value to you guys. My aim is to be an expert in a very small, narrow field, which I think should be everyone's goal to some degree. What is it that your unique ability to a certain type of person? I'm becoming much more comfortable in the niching down of my life's mission. I'm really thankful right now. I've really enjoyed this audience, this niche, this mission of invested fathers. Just trying to find who are people right now that are already in this space that I can attach myself to or grow from or learn. What is their specific message? I'm really enjoying that field. I'll leave with a quote that a good friend of mine, Caleb Edwards, has on his green screen whenever I do a call with him. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. So for dads out there that maybe have struggled with this identity of what they're trying to promote as like a businessman, what they're trying to promote as a dad, as a husband, I want you to be challenged and hopefully encouraged by this statement that whatever you do is indicative to who you are, the way you do it. If that's not something you're happy with right now, there's areas in your life that you feel like are out of balance, I encourage you to work on those. That doesn't mean beat yourself up on all the things that you're doing poorly. I would definitely think you should be leaning into your strengths. But the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Signing out for this week. Thank you very much, everybody. Do me a favor. If you've enjoyed these episodes, I know I say it in the outro 1,000 times, but love for you to leave a review, drop something that lets me know that you've enjoyed these episodes. Thank you for being a dad. Love your kids. Love your wife. Love God. Choose to focus on how far we have come instead of how far we have to go. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Invested Fathers Podcast. If you liked this episode, we would love for you to click subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. We appreciate all of your hard work as a father and look forward to our next episode together.